Hello, my fiery friends. Once again, it is your fiery friend, the Infernoman here, and we're about to play some awesome, super fun midweek magic events. So, how's everyone doing today? Are we all having fun out there wherever you are watching from? Even if you are watching again on replay from the live stream itself, don't worry, we'll have plenty of fun for you all today, and we are honestly just going to get ourselves started here. Give me a second here while I kind of just try to load up Arena, just on the back end here, and then we're going to get ourselves going. So, let's see if we can make our way into it now. And okay, so it is working right now, but I think we're going to have to refresh for 1 second here. It's officially 2 o'clock, so that means Midweek Magic should now be a thing on screen. And okay, there it is. Yes. All right, so what exactly are we playing today, you may be wondering. So let's go ahead, let's check that out real quick, and then we'll kind of just talk a little briefly about how the stream is going to go. We won't be streaming as long as our normal ones. I know we already kind of do streams that are only about 2 hours in length, but after this, actually, I have to go immediately to work right afterwards, but I've wanted to see if I can cram in at least one quick little stream before we end up continuing on with our day. So, with that out of the way, let's look at again. We're going to be doing, okay, so it is Midweek Magic Standard Deck Showcase. So if you haven't seen this before, mostly they kind of just give us some pre-con decks, as you can see right over here. And then mostly we're just going to pick one. We're just going to do our events. Once we get that done, I'm actually then going to go over, again, the one main thing that all of you are really, I'm sure, hyped to see, which is going to be our actual super cool, awesome deck tech today. It's going to be for Brawl. So we'll have a little bit more fun with that a little bit later on in the stream, probably about halfway through it. But until then, let's go ahead, let's read this real quick. So again, it says, welcome to Midweek Magic. For each week, try out a different way to play Arena. So this week is, as I mentioned earlier, Standard Deck Showcase. So you get to select from 5 different standard competitive constructed decks and test them out. Change the decks as often as you like. Okay, again, nothing super crazy. So we're going to go ahead and click on that real quick here. And okay, so we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we got quite a few options here. I'm just going to briefly kind of look at all of them because, again, I'm not going to take my time to look at every single one of these because that's going to take too long. We just honestly would just want to pick one deck and we're just going to have some fun with it. I'm pretty sure I kind of already know where I'm going to kind of stick to. If I know myself, I'm most likely going to either be the Rakdos Aggro or Boros Convoke because usually those are my main colors. That's not to say, again, the other colored decks are bad or anything. It's just, again, not my personal style. But otherwise, let's go ahead and just kind of briefly look at all of them since we just got this event going. So Golgari mid-range looks like it's going to be right here with very disgusting cards like Glissa here. You have Shieldred. I think what's interesting is they actually did make these a little bit more similar to the competitive ones, although their ratio of certain cards is interesting. Although, to be fair, I haven't actually looked at any of these actual playlists in a while, so this is something that's, again, not something I usually do, only just because I'm not usually a standard format player. But again, since this is a free event as always, and I always encourage all of you to, take advantage of any and all free items and things you can grab, why not? Let's look at Azorius Control real quick to see. Okay, well, it's definitely Azorius Control. Again, not my personal favorite, but I can play it if I really, really want to. So I can actually play control decks if I needed to in a pinch. But overall, it seems like, all right, nothing really out of the ordinary here. It's pretty consistent with what you're doing. Okay. I'll go over Boros Convoke in a second here. I'm pretty sure I know what that one's going to look like because I played it quite a bit. Dimir mid-range right here, same thing. It's a little bit more on the control-y side, but it is got some interesting options here. Of course, it's got Shieldreds, Gixes, of course, right here for some card draw. Nothing, again, super weird or different. Esper mid-range, I absolutely hate this deck in every way, shape, or form. But again, it is an option here. And again, you don't have to actually, if you don't want to play with it, you don't have to. But also, it's kind of cool that, at least with these events, you actually don't have to spend wild cards on these. So that's actually really sweet. And that's one of those things I like about this kind of event. Let's see, 5-color domain. Again, this is also another deck that I'm honestly not a fan of. But I understand, again, it's very powerful if you can make sure to get it off with the Trox and everything. So with that, we'll go back again. Teamer Analyst. All right, I don't really play Teamer Analyst, so I really don't have much to say about this deck because I'm not sure how this one works. But it is also, again, an option. So, I mean, take it however you will. But otherwise, of course, 2 main decks I'm going to be looking at is going to be Rakdos Aggro here. Yes, it has Shieldred, but it also is more in tune with what I like to personally play with. So we definitely have Gixes here. I do like playing Liliana personally. Yes, of course, Shieldred. That's got to be kind of like a mainstay anyway. And otherwise, the only other option, of course, is Boros Convoke. Boros Convoke probably is going to be the most aggro option we have on this list, and it's definitely a deck that I've actually played a little bit, so I'm actually really personally excited for this one myself because I actually do like it. But I think we'll kind of give it a little bit of go. I don't know if I want to play Rakdos Aggro. Boros Convoke is a lot more aggressive, and at the very least, if we can finish up our event early, we'll definitely go and jump right into our Brawl decks. So I think we're going to pick Boros Convoke. So we'll go back, and we'll go back. So while I'm kind of setting this up, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're all having fun, again, wherever you are watching the stream, or if you're catching the replay, if you're watching this again on YouTube or Twitch at a later time. Hopefully, again, you're going to enjoy what you're going to be seeing today. So with that, choose our deck. Okay. Boros Convoke, we'll submit that one. All right, there we go. And we'll go ahead and jump in now, and we'll get ourselves started. So with that, all right. And with that, all right, we're going to get our first game going right here. Again, we're just going to try to get our dailies done with our midweek magic event, and we're just going to jump right into, of course, our next fun thing as soon as we are done here. So let's see, we got Resolute Reinforcements, which is really solid for us. Sanguine Evangelist and Knight of Aaron of Eos is going to help us just get all of our stuff going here. So I think this should be a solid hand, and this will hopefully just get us right to where we want to be at to go ahead and finish the event ASAP. All right, and with that, okay, so what's our opponent trying to play? I'm not sure yet, but we'll play Battlefield Forge, and we'll go ahead and pass the turn. Okay, opponent, what do you got? What are you playing? Playing Mirex? Okay, so I guess they're playing the mid-range deck, I'm assuming. Put down our planes, and then we'll pass here. Okay. So again, for those of you who haven't actually seen Boros Convoke in any way, shape, or form, if you haven't not been playing at all, pretty simple. Just go super wide as fast as you can, and then just usually get a pump creature or pump spell in, and we just finish off our opponent very, very quickly that way. All right, we're down to 18. Not a big deal for us. Inti. And then with that, Resolute Reinforcements. ETBs, makes it token. Cool. All right, so War Leader's Call is not too shabby here. That's actually pretty nice. So with that, we'll play the War Leader's Call. We'll ping ourselves for 1. We will go swinging. Do you block, opponent? They do not. Okay, well, that does give us a bit of an edge right now, so we shouldn't be doing too bad here. They'll get to kind of do a little bit of their looting. All right. And with that, they'll mostly pump. Okay. Yeah. That's standard for this deck. So we're down to 12. It's going to be a really quick aggro match here. Blood Tithe Harvester. Make a blood token. All right, Novice Inspector. Okay. How do we do this here? I think Novice Inspector. And we will get ping. Hit our opponent there. We get to investigate. Resolute Reinforcements. Ping ourselves. We do take some damage here, but we will be able to ping our opponent down, which is not too shabby. So more pings. All right. Down to 14. Down to 13. And then here comes really where the big hitters come in. So with that, we will tap everything. Knight Errant of Eos. Now we're definitely cooking here. Okay, there we go. All right, we're going to need to get a good hit here. Come on, deck. Give me a good hit. Okay, so, okay, so we got our Immondane's Recruiter, which is great here. And we'll have War in the Inner Sky. Which one do we want? Which one do we actually want to grab? Okay. Well, I'm guessing, well, the Volder and Epicure, because we want to try to ping them ASAP. So they go down to 12. We can still block with the Knight if we absolutely have to, just to kind of stall out a bit for at least 1 turn. That's all we got to do. We just need to strive for 1 whole turn. Can our deck do that? All right. Opponent is sacrificing a blood token. They draw a card, and another card, and another card. Okay. All right. Take your time, opponent. Again, no rush. They're looking over things. While they're looking over things again, so as of today, I believe they put out now for Modern Horizons 3 the Commander Precon. I mean, I'll be real with you. I saw that Precon. I mean, I like energy, but why couldn't it be a Teamer energy deck? I mean, that's just my personal opinion. And the only thing I had to ask when I saw that Precon, if any of you saw it already, is why exactly are we getting Commander Precons? I know obviously the main answer, but for the whole point of it being, oh, okay, well, our opponent kind of just, they scooped up right there. Okay, well, I guess they lost. So, yay, we'll take that win, and we'll just move on to our next match so we can just keep this going. Yay. All right, so we got our first win of the day. Really awesome. We'll get our gold. Let's see, we'll get our card here. We'll claim that. And we'll do another claim here. Okay, so again, we're getting gems, which is definitely what we're going to need for the upcoming set because, good lord, that set's going to be super expensive. But until then, we'll take our claim here. We'll go on to our next match, and we'll just get our next win. Hopefully, it shouldn't take too long here, and we'll be able to hopefully be able to get to our Brawl decks ASAP after this. All right, so Boros Convoke again. That's what we're playing as we saw earlier. Okay, this is a really sweet hand. We put down the Novice Inspector. We can Gleeful Demolition on turn 2, and then we can start pumping with everything with Imodane's Recruiter ASAP. I can't believe this card is actually an uncommon. This is such a powerful card. I actually have this copy in one of my commander decks that actually really likes this card's ability here. I really am big on this card right now. But in any case, put that down for now. Cavernous Souls, we'll put it on, it has to be on human. Novice Inspector coming down. Make a token, and we pass. Okay, opponent, what do you got? What are you trying to play? Take your time. Okay, so with that, we will play Inspiring Advantage. And then we'll swing right here. Gleeful Demolition, taking out the token. We make some tokens ourselves, some little Phyrexian goblins. Okay. Nissa. Okay, so with this here, put down a plains. How do we do this here? Okay, so I think we're just going to have to pass here. We'll Resolute Reinforcements at the end of their turn. And that should be fine for us. And then we can start pumping everything with everything we got. For our opponent's swings, though, then we definitely are going to be in a good rate spot. Okay, Spelunking. Opponent will draw a card. So while they're doing this, everybody, how are, again, like, all of you, we've pretty much almost seen the entire set now of Modern Horizons 3. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, opponent is also doing some land shenanigans there, which is fine. Okay. So while they're doing that, again, what are your thoughts overall on Modern Horizons 3? Do we like it? I know I've been asking for the past couple weeks. I've been doing streams, but again, I like to still kind of get a feel for what everyone is feeling when it comes to that. Do we like it? Are we disliking it? Is there any cards that you're considering getting yourself as singles? Are you getting any packs? Are you drafting it? Are you going to do the precons? Let me know. I would love to hear from you guys about your thoughts on Modern Horizons 3. But in any case, while our opponent is still slowly going off here with their Teamer Analyst deck. Okay, so what is our game plan here? So we do Resolute Reinforcements. Imodane's Recruiter can come down. We can do one pump. And we can do a second round of pump with the other one. So hopefully we should be able to get there. Okay, opponent's Spelunking again. Okay. Do they have another land? Alright. Another land. They go off again. Alright, opponent. So, while they're still doing their thing here, I'm trying to think again, like, I kind of want to see if I can pull up the list maybe later on, and I can try to talk about some of those cards that I actually am interested in. Not going to lie right now, yes, I actually already pre-ordered the pre-con for the energy deck, because when I kind of started coming back to the game, I was actually really high on energy. I know some people thought it was busted at the time, but it's kind of hilarious when you think about it now that energy is actually not as strong as it used to be, but it's actually really niche now that it's actually not in standard anymore. But again, I was a big fan of it, so I actually do have an energy deck. Oh, okay, our opponent just kind of wiped the board there. I mean, that's fine, I guess. But we can still rebuild. That's one of the good things, at least, about Boros Convoke. Oh, yes. The energy deck seems so much fun. Yes, I actually will agree with that. So, Rudin, yes, I will definitely say I actually like energy a lot, and I actually think that now that I kind of saw the deck list, I only saw it a couple minutes before I started the stream, so I didn't have a chance to actually look at the whole deck list. But to me, it actually looks like a lot of fun, so I'm actually hyped for that. I look forward to getting a copy of that when the time comes. All right, so anyway, sorry, got to go back also to the game, of course. So with that, Cavern Souls, we'll put down on humans. And, all right, how do we do this here? Or maybe we should hold back a little bit more here. I think, just getting a little damage here, down to 18. I think we'll pass. Okay, so I think now the game plan is, since we're actually about to hit 5 mana, I think we should be fine enough to just kind of hold off for an extra turn. Maybe, just maybe, we can get a little greedy and make some night tokens. I think that might be better for us, but we'll see. But yes, I actually I'm definitely going to be putting together, of course, in Timeless. We're definitely already have an idea for an energy deck. I just don't know which way I want to go. Because, again, I did put together, like, I have in Arena, and I can show you guys a little bit later on. I do have my personal pet deck, which is a Teamer energy deck that is legal in Pioneer, that I do play here and explore every once in a while when I'm on Arena having fun. But with this upcoming set for Modern Horizons 3, I might consider upgrading it, maybe getting a little bit more added support to it, and maybe we'll make it a Timeless energy deck for Arena. So I actually think that'll actually be a lot of fun to do. But again, I just need a little bit more time to kind of look at, like, what is the best combination of cards. Maybe we consider a mid-range version, a combo version. I'm not sure yet. I have to still kind of take it all in. But until then, ooh, okay. Well, that's actually not too bad. I think this might change what we're going to do here. Okay, so with that. Otherwise, how are you doing today, Rudin? Hopefully you're having fun watching the stream. Okay, we're going to ping out. Okay, I figured they're going to do their shenanigans here. That's fine. Okay, so that is a lot of life gain, which is annoying, but it's not the worst. We can still kind of close the gap. This is just going to take a moment, everybody. It's fine. It's fine. We'll let our opponent do their thing. Gain a lot of life. That's fine. So anyway, while they're doing that... Okay. Sorry, I had a thought in my head about, again, the set coming out, but while I try to get that thought back to my brain, we'll play Imodane's Recruiter now. Memory Deluge. Okay, opponent is digging deep for some answers, but while they do that, we need to close the gap and get super aggro here. So they get some cards. ETBs. The whole team gets pumped. Okay, well that's not too shabby, right? Okay, Rudin. What's your opinion on the Eldrazi one? Seems kind of strong. I'll be honest, like, actually, when Commander Masters came out a couple months ago, I actually thought that was the best we were going to get in terms of an Eldrazi precon. But the current one that just came out right now, the basically devoid, but not really devoid kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you've seen it, of course. It's that the 5-color one. That one, I think, might actually be even stronger than the colorless one that came out a couple months ago. And our opponent just blew up our board again. Totally not salty about that. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We still have time, of course, to still bounce back. But yes, I think the Eldrazi one actually might be the strongest deck when we get that deck list. That should be coming out. I have no idea when that deck list comes out. It should be coming out at the end of the week, right? I know they just showed the energy one, but yeah, I think the Eldrazi one might be the most powerful one. And that kind of has me a little scared because I would love to have gotten that one and kind of used some of it for parts for maybe the colorless one. But maybe, I'm not sure where we can go with Eldrazi at this point. It's personally, I think that deck is going to go for a lot of money. I'll just say that right now. Some of the precons, like the base prices right now, I know prices are going to go down once the actual cards are reprinted, but a lot of those cards are very strong. Like the precon's current price right now, if you bought all the cards individually for the energy one, I just saw that one was already past triple digits, so that one's going to be pretty pricey. I know the price will go down with those reprints, and man, our opponent is blowing up the whole board right now. They had a ton of removal in this deck, but that's fine. We still have a way of getting around this. So, otherwise, I think, personally, like, if you manage to get any of the energy one, I think actually all the decks look like they could be pretty solid. I'm still curious about that Lurgoyf one. The one that's basically, I guess you would just say that the commander version of Jund. That one might seem kind of cool too. I actually would like to see that list, but I'm curious to think how can they power up Lurgoyfs now that kind of Tarmogoyf's not exactly what it once was. That actually kind of makes me a little sad, actually. Tarmogoyf used to be one of the most powerful cards, like, you could play in Modern, and now it's kind of a sad joke, actually. Wow, Modern's really come a long way since we've done these Horizon sets. I don't know. Sometimes I really like to think that the Horizon sets are both a blessing and a curse for us. I'm really happy to see that we did get a lot of cool cards from a lot of these sets, but the biggest downside I've noticed with some of the Eldrazi stuff is just, or at least, I'm sorry, not the Eldrazi stuff, but I mean, like, just Horizon sets in general tend to be a little too much for the sets. And while I'm doing this, I realize our opponent is just going off here. I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to close the gap here because we're starting to run out of steam. The opponent is really going off here. Wow. Okay. They're kind of close to decking out, though. They're down to 14 cards. I don't know how they're going to beat us here, but We'll see if they do that in a bit. In any case, going back to it, actually, I guess that's probably a question I should probably ask everyone, whether you're watching right now live or if you're watching it on the replay. What are your thoughts overall on Horizon sets in general? Like, ever since we've had now 3 sets of Modern Horizons, and I know some people have basically said, yeah, they've kind of warped the modern formats. But let's be real, Wizards were going to do anything they could to try to make sure they can keep making money off of one of the most popular 60-card formats, which is, of course, going to be Modern. Again, Modern's gotten a lot more expensive. We're reaching prices that, oh man, like the prices we're seeing right now for Modern right now, it's honestly what I remember what Legacy was. And okay, just beat us right there. Well, I mean, that is what it is. It's fine. We still have plenty of time in the stream to bounce back, so I'm not too worried about that. In any case, okay. It's something that I've kind of thought about. Like, I definitely would love to have more modern decks. The format has gotten so much more expensive now. I think if they just had a better way of just making it accessible in terms of just lands. Lands are honestly the one main thing that, if they can just give us a stronger land base for a cheaper price, I think a lot of people will actually play Modern a lot more. I mean, the closest most of us tend to play now is, to be honest, I feel like now that we've had Timeless added to Arena, that's kind of as close as you can get to like a high-powered format without, spending a ton. But that's also kind of the reason why I like doing my content. For those of you out there that, again, who haven't seen my content in any way, shape, or form, be sure to check it out on YouTube. The whole point of my content is to help new players that don't want to have to spend a ton of money on playing Magic Arena, not have to spend a ton to have fun with this game. And with the upcoming Modern Horizons 3 set, don't worry, we will definitely have a lot of timeless decks that we're going to be building, but I will make sure to try to make them as cheap as possible, so all of you out there who enjoy playing Magic but don't want to have to spend a silly amount can play it for a very fair price. The fair price I'm talking about right now, we'll hit human here, okay, is honestly, I usually try to stick around at minimum, maybe about, depending on decks, I usually stick to about a budget of about 12 rares for most of the formats. Timeless, I understand, is a lot more expensive and a lot more powerful, so usually I'll raise the budget there. If you see my content, I'll usually raise it to about maybe no higher than about, I guess 14, 15 rares. That's mostly where I kind of try to stick around for Timeless at least, because again, it's a higher power format, and you're going to need a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to playing a high-powered format. But don't worry, we will be creating a couple of super awesome Timeless decks now that I've seen a good chunk of the cards now. And I've already kind of have an idea of 1 or 2 that I think might be the best options for those of you who want to just begin playing in this format. If you actually do want to check out, for those of you who haven't seen it already on my YouTube channel, I do already have a couple of really good Timeless decks that surprisingly do pretty well, even though the decks are not very they obviously don't have the power of, say, like, they don't have all the fetch lands per se, but you don't need them all, again, if you're going to be picking like certain types of deck archetypes. But again, we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. In the meantime, I do want to go, of course, get back to this match here, because our opponent here is doing their thing. They got their little masterminds here. So with that, we'll play Knight Errant of Eos. So we will tap, tap. Oh, taps here. I realized didn't have to ping myself there. Oops. That's okay. Okay, in any case. 2 Voldrin Epicures. So actually this is not too shabby here. We're slowly going wide against our opponent here. We will then submit 3. Ooh, okay. Well, now we're talking here. That's great. Okay, we're going to keep that on top, obviously, for sure. And we'll pass. Okay, so game plan right now looks like it's pretty solid here. All we just need to do is, once we get off that Imodane's Recruiter, assuming our opponent doesn't counter us, we should be fine to just overrun our opponent and just get our win. At least that's how I hope it's going to work. But in any case, otherwise, those of you out there that are watching, welcome. I do see we do have a handful of more people that are joining us on stream. Give a shout out below where you're watching from. I actually am trying to figure out now where are my best options for streaming. So currently right now I'm multi-streaming as we speak to, actually I think I'm streaming to like 4 or 5 different platforms. So I'm on X, I'm on YouTube obviously, we're on Twitch itself, and also a couple of those other random third-party places. Like I technically have it also linked to Kick, but I don't think anybody's watching me on Kick right now, of course. In any case, Cavern of Souls, we will put it, of course, on Human. And this is the best part. Woo! Okay, there we go. Whee! Big swing here. Do you have an answer, opponent? Oh, my goodness. Oh, of course they don't have an answer. Woo! That's why I love Boros Convoke, everybody. Oh, my gosh. Man. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm just having a lot of fun right here. This is actually cool. This is exactly why, if I had to pick a deck for standard, I love Boros Convoke. Look at that. That is awesome. We were able to beat our opponent there very easily there without much effort. Okay, so, yeah, moving on to the next match. Woo! Okay, sorry, I had a lot of fun with that one. But, yeah, in any case, going back to what I was mentioning earlier, we definitely... Sorry, we'll flip this right here. Definitely check out, again, if you haven't done so, to check out some of the other decks I've talked about. But also, let me know, again, like, whichever format y'all are watching me the stream, or at least the replay on, I would love to know so I can kind of start getting a little bit more data on understanding where I can best cater more videos and content to. But obviously, right now, my main focus, for those of you, is... I obviously go all in on YouTube, with everything kind of supplementing everything to kind of funnel you all to YouTube, if you will. Not trying to, like, again, say, like, you should only be watching my YouTube content. Obviously, I do other fun things, and sometimes I'll say maybe a random spicy thing on Twitter/X, but let's be real. Obviously, most of my other platforms exist, so that way I can have fun with all of you, interact, but we, of course, goes all back into this. Having said that, also, I do want to remind everybody, if you were watching, I don't stream as long as other people out there, and I also don't, I don't stream as often. At the best right now, based on my work schedule, because I do have a big boy job, I only can stream, at best, only once a week. Mostly, it's going to be either a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Those are my best days that if you want to catch me, that'll be my best time where I'm going to be the most active throughout the week, because that's usually when I'm either streaming or at least online the most to put out a bunch of stuff. So be sure to say hi, leave a shout out below. I would love to hear from all of you about, you know, what you would like to see. I will put out, of course, another poll once we get Timeless going, probably next week. I'm planning on getting another poll going to kind of start estimating what are the decks that all of you want to check out, or at least want to see cards built around. Okay. Actually, okay. I thought we were going to have a non-mo right here. Okay, so we do have a match, which is good. Okay, real quick with this. So we do have some 1 and 2 drops here. This is actually pretty solid for us for our next turn. So not too shabby here. I'm actually looking at great at this. This is awesome. But otherwise, yes, we do have a poll that I'm going to put out for upcoming cards that you would like to see me build decks around that I have an interest in. Don't worry, there was actually a couple polls that I know I've already put up over the past couple weeks. There was one for when we got Thunder Junction out that I know some of you participated in, and I know we haven't done every card that I wanted to do in that one, but technically today was actually ranked number 2 on what you wanted to see built into a deck from Thunder Junction. So don't worry, we will definitely finally have that deck ready to go today at a little later on, after we're done, of course, with this match. But otherwise, until then, going back to the match here, so we are looking pretty good here in terms of just getting out all of our stuff. And then as far as what we're planning on doing in the future, because I know I've had some of you ask me in some comments, and also like some of you have directly messaged me about asking, do we have, or at least are we planning a Discord channel in the future for all of you, my fiery friends? To be perfectly honest, I would like to do a Discord, but I think that's going to come down the line when I get my channel monetized on YouTube. And that's only because once I start getting at least a little bit of money, even we're talking like even a couple, just a little bit of extra money from anything here, I think that'll probably give me more incentive to actually invest a little bit more time into this. Not that I don't want to do more of these kinds of things. I love doing content, but as you know, life sometimes gets in the way of things. And I would love to do more, but it's just hard to do when you're trying to balance, you know, like full-time job, you know, family, friends, all that stuff. And then, of course, you're trying to see if you can build this. So I totally get that. Also, for those of you out there who actually can pull it off with maybe like another job, oh, okay. I guess maybe I took too long for our opponent there. Sorry, opponents. Or maybe they had to take off. I don't know. In any case, I mean, yay, I'll take the win. Yay for that. So I think just out of fairness, let's do maybe one more just to have some fun. Because I actually do like the Boros Convoke deck. So we'll claim what we got. Boneyard Desecrator here. Okay. I'll just do one more just to have a little bit more. And then also I just wanted to finish my thought here. But yes, those of you out there, again, who can do kind of like what I do, where, you know, you do like a full-time job, and you're doing something fun on the side, or a little side hustle, if you will, and just trying to make it in the world. mad props to all of you out there. I totally get how that goes, and this is exactly why I like doing what I do. I have a lot of passion for building decks. I just don't have all the time in the world to put out their videos daily like all of you. So if you watch my content, you'll know that I tend to do, at best, maybe like 3 or 4 videos a week. A mixture of shorts, where I like to crack YouTube packs. I'm sorry, like to crack magic cards in packs. And if you just like to watch me waste my own money, you can totally do that. I definitely have a lot of videos where I crack packs. Some cards I get that are going to be super awesome, but I just hope at least we'll get some really solid bangers when we do get our boxes for Modern Horizons 3. I'm actually looking forward to that personally. So, okay, our opponent is playing the Rakdos mid-range deck. That's totally cool. In any case, I'm also looking at doing, again, other things we could do to expand the channel when we get to that point. There's definitely, again, some more ideas that I would love to do, but it really, again, it just comes down to time. But until then, we're still going to have a lot of fun with what we're trying to do. All right. I know that technically had flash, so we probably could have just done it at the end of their end step, but I just want to start getting super aggro here just to start getting the ball rolling. Otherwise, that's basically my rambling of just what we're planning on doing in the future with this channel once we get to a certain point. Otherwise, let me know in the comments below, or at least in the chat, however you want to do it. What are you all, what passions and what interests do all of you have out there? I would love to hear from some of you about, like, are you all interested? We're going to convoke here everything. Are you all interested, of course, in seeing, for at least for me, additional kinds of things such as, I don't know, are some of you out there interested in other formats out there? Are you interested in seeing maybe certain kinds of gimmicks? What's your favorite decks out there also? I would love to hear from others out there, like, what do you like to play mostly? Are you a more aggro player, mid-range? Are you a control player? Combo decks out there? And if you do have anything spicy, I would love to hear from all of you. So let me know. I would definitely love to start seeing, again, what maybe we can kind of cook up. I tend to have a little bit more towards the, okay, our opponent is definitely swinging here. I think we should block this, probably. We probably should block. I definitely like to build mostly aggro decks and mid-range kind of piles. Sometimes I'll do control. Not too big on control, but I can definitely play it. And combo is not something I'm too fond of, but again, I can definitely play it if I absolutely have to in a pinch. And of course, our opponents has removal. Fabulous. Okay, we're down to 10. That's okay, everybody. This is fine. We're not hurting too bad here. Opponent's going to try to draw some cards and ping themselves. I mean, that's fine if they want to do that. Okay, so here's how we do this. So, we will destroy our own creature there, make some tokens. We will then go off with Imodan Recruiter. I love this combo. Battle Cry. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're about to just overrun our opponent here. Yes! I love this deck so much. Woo! Okay. Wow. Okay. That was actually the third match. That I'm going to count that as our third win. That should have been the third win. So we just overran our opponent there. And there we go. Yay! We got through our wins there officially. So we will now continue on. We'll talk about our Brawl deck in just a moment. Okay. So Rudin, have you considered doing Brawl Commander? Yes. I actually I don't have too many Brawl decks. I'll be perfectly honest with you. If you look at my channel, I've looked at my analytics. I would love to do more Brawl content, but I don't know if the audience that I've kind of built actually wants to see that. Like, don't get me wrong. I do have a passion for building some of these really cool things, and I should crack our pack. Let me crack our pack real quick. I do have... I've made some Brawl content, but it just doesn't really take off on my channel. I mean, kind of makes me a little sad, though. I would love to do more, but maybe I might start doing that in the future if there is more of you interested in checking out more Brawl content. There's definitely a lot of fun decks out there. I just haven't had enough time to kind of take all that in. I think, honestly, for me, streaming right now, Brawl decks is probably my best way of getting out there that content, because that content takes quite a while to do. It takes a lot of time to actually put together singleton decks, a lot more than 60 card, only just because of just what it takes to kind of put it all together. But since you actually just brought that up, I'm glad you just did, because now we're going to be talking about, we're going to be going over the main show today. This is, again, why you're all here today. So we're going to be going over a deck that I am simply calling Big Country. And we're going to show you our star. You all voted on this. For those of you that were on my YouTube channel, I put up a poll a while ago. I know all of you, number one, wanted to pick Gisa, so I put that for 60 card, but I figured maybe we'll make a Brawl deck out of one of these deck cards that all of you voted on. And Bonny Pall was ranked number 2 in what you wanted to see. So thanks again for being patient. We finally put together a deck that represents her and her awesome ability. So for those of you who still haven't seen this card played all that much, I actually have only played it just recently, a couple days ago, and I had a lot of fun with it. So really reading it over, this is Bonny Pall, Clear Cutter. It is a 6 mana, 6/5 giant scout. It has reach, and it says, when Bonny Pall, Clear Cutter enters the battlefield, you create Bow, a legendary blue ox creature token with this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. Whenever you attack, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. I don't know, it kind of feels like, as I kind of mentioned it, I jokingly say, it kind of feels like Uro at home, sort of. I mean, you don't get the life gain, but you definitely get a lot of card draw. You get a lot of land drops with this card. It's very expensive, but it's actually pretty easy because, again, we're Simic colors building this whole thing together, so it's extremely powerful, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I will put up, of course, a link for this if you are interested in it later on, if you want to put it together yourself. I tried to find a good balance between making it as budget as I can, but at the same time, making it so it still has some good power behind the set of cards that we've chosen. Yes, if you put this together in paper, I think it's now like, oh dear, like $200. But if you play at least in Arena, I think it's only like 14 rares. So 14 rares for a 100 card singleton deck is actually not too shabby. But how good is it, you may be wondering? Well, I'm glad you asked. So we're actually going to briefly go over not every single card because that's a lot of cards, but we're going to show you right now what I'm actually working with today. So the whole idea with Bonny Pall, her main shtick is, of course, we just want to get as many lands out to create a giant ox. And at the same time, we also want to try to start just overrunning our opponent with a bunch of big creatures to just stomp out our opponent and just get to our victory. It's literally just exactly what you expect a Simic deck to do. Ramp, 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 and make big, big creatures and just smash our way through to get to that win. So as far as how this works, so obviously we're going to go over, I don't really have a game plan for this because usually if you see my deck text, I usually talk about creatures first, then I go over the non-creature spells, artifacts, enchantments, then I go over the support and the land base. But this isn't the singleton card deck. We're just going to kind of just go based upon mana value instead. So starting in the 1-drop slot, we have, of course, Slip Out the Back for some protection and phasing out, Spell Pierce for some counter spells, same with Stubborn Denial. Really awesome for this deck because the Ferocious always will be triggered because we have a lot of big creatures. Wash Away to just kind of hose out their commander if they try to cash in on it. We're also going to have quite a few cards that are either going to help us ramp in different ways, either by putting land drops down like a Boreal Grazer. We'll also have cards to help us dig for lands, such as Bushwhack here, and Sionit Scout for exploring, Elvish Mystic, Jaspero Sentinel, Land of War Elves. You've kind of seen these cards before. Of course, they'll tap for mana to help us just generate more resources to help do our thing. Tameo Safekeeping for general protection for any single targets. Thirsting Root here for proliferating, but honestly, we can mostly going to use it for digging out raw land. Springleaf Drum here is kind of cute for our deck because we will have a handful of tokens that we can use to just help us generate some more mana. Another Tyvar Stand here is going to be for protection purposes. In the 2-drop slot here, we have Bayeen Veil here. Since our deck is Simic, we don't technically have Wraths per se. Instead, we're just going to have to rely on kind of softening up our opponent here or just trying to go as big as we can before they can just start swinging at us. Of course, more counter spells like Disdainful Stroke. Last Attempt Plating kind of gives our entire team and everything hexproof and gives us our token from that. Make Disappear is also great as another counter spell. Negate, of course, is standard. Druid class, we have a lot of landfall, so we want to take advantage of the landfall triggers by giving us some life gain. Helps us stabilize, and if we can get to level 2 and 3, we'll have some really awesome finishers for our deck there. Armored Scrap Gorger here. Pseudo kind of graveyard hate, but also it can be a great... I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Again, Mana Dork, of course. Dance of the Tumbleweeds to help us dig out a land or a desert. Explore also for more land. Paradise Druid, another Mana Dork. Decisive Denial, really, really sweet little card. I actually love this card a lot, and a lot of people greatly underestimate it. Great as a counterspell in a pinch, but also you can use it as an instant fight spell when you just need to take something out before it just takes you out. Growth Spiral here is also standard. Kinnan here, let's be really quick, and I'm just going to just say this straight out. If you really want to make the best Simic deck using any commander, obviously, Kinnan is your best choice. But again, even in the 99, Kinnan is extremely powerful. I'm personally not a fan of Kinnan and what he does, mostly just because people tend to play him for CDH, and I'm not a CDH or competitive player. I'm mostly just a budget player. But we can't ignore the fact that Kinnan does a lot of work with our mana dorks, so he has to go into the deck. But again, if you want your deck to be more powered up, you can put him in the commander spot, and your deck will work perfectly fine, maybe arguably better. But again, that's not what we're focused on today. We're just focused on having fun with our choice of commander today. But moving on, now that I got that out of the way, we have Mana Leaf Pixie here, another mana dork. Simic Charm here, really awesome for us to get a quick little pump in, protecting everything we need to, similar to Lazatet Plating, and also we can bounce something back, which can be great for us to kind of get something out of the way. Arcane Signet here's a staple, of course, for mana fixing. You Come to the River. I don't like how this one unfortunately got the alchemy nerf, but that's fine because again the card's still pretty solid for what it does. It can either bounce something away or give us an unblockable pumped up creature. Dissipate for more counter spells. You find the villains there. I also love this card too. Great for us to either draw some cards or we can use it as counter spell in a pinch. Ball Again Recovery here, great as a tap land, even better as a land to help dig something back out of our graveyard. You have, of course, Cultivate, that's also standard for us. Nissa, Resurgent Animist here. I know some people probably would have argued that if we're going to build the deck like this, why didn't we put in Lotus Cobra? Well, I kind of had to make a choice on, again, what we had to cut. And Lotus Cobra tends to die very quickly to weaker removal. So that's why I figured Nissa, at least if we're going to do a landfall where we can just kind of do some mana fixing and whatnot, we figured might as well just go with a much more stronger card anyway. So that's in case if anybody's wondering. But yes, obviously you can upgrade the deck with a Lotus Cobra if you wanted to, in addition to Nissa. Roiling Regrowth here to help us do some more ramping. We're going to sacrifice a land, but we can remember lands back with Bonny Pall, so that's actually not too bad for us. We have to throw in Scoot Swarm here, another one of my favorite cards here. It's such a cute little fun card when it goes super, super big once we get a bunch of Insect and Scoot Swarm tokens. TT Shieldred, how's the game going? Oh, actually, welcome and thanks for joining us. We just finished up Midweek Magic right now, so I actually have not started with this deck yet. We're just going over really briefly a deck tech for those of you who are interested in this deck and maybe you want to try it out. So thanks for joining us. As soon as I'm done talking about the cards, don't worry, we'll spend the rest of the entire stream just playing the deck, and then we'll do, of course, at the end, my evaluation of how the deck does and would I consider recommending this deck for other players out there, whether you're a budget player or any player in general, so to speak. So thanks again for joining me here. All right, finishing up, so we're trying to see if we can speed this up a bit. So with Spring Bloom Druid here, just the same thing as Roiling Regrowth, sacrifice a land, get us some more lands for some more ramp. Tireless Provision here, awesome staple here, gives us some treasure tokens we could definitely use. Gyre Engineer, another mana dork. Uro, I know a lot of people don't like Uro, but for, again, a deck like this, we cannot ignore it, so we had to get it. It's essential for the deck, and it really helps us out. Murmuring Mystic here, we have quite a few cheap spells that helps us just kind of generate some more mana searching. So Murmuring Mystic here can create some nice cute little chump blockers for us if we need to with birds. Devious Cover Up here, again, same thing, more counter spells, but also can help us put some extra cards back into our entire deck. Timeless Witness here, same thing, we just gotta find ways of getting more of our cards back, and it has Eternalize, so it's awesome. Atric Methys, I messed that up, but you get the idea. It's a Slumbering Isle. You've still seen this card before. Comes in as a tap land, but it's actually really great when it becomes a giant creature later on. Lorien Reveal here, also another staple here for island cycling, but specifically it can help us draw cards if we need to in the late game. Elder Gargroth here, also another very, very powerful card, so we do highly recommend that as well. Spore Mound and Zendikar's Royal, same thing. Landfall triggers that can help us go wide if we really need to. I'll explain why we want to go wide, even though we have a lot of big creatures in just a second. Silverback Elder, really, really awesome green card here. Then I highly recommend if you can get a copy of this in any one of your green decks, because whenever this thing goes off, this thing is a really great way to hose opponents with to have a lot of artifacts, enchantments, digging for stuff, and just helping stabilize with land. Tatyova here, it's super, super silly how this deck can go with a bunch of landfall triggers, so we of course had to have some card draw, and again, some more life gain, so we had to put her in there. Primeval Titan, I'm pretty sure this card needs no introduction. It's as powerful. And again, it is legal in Brawl. Maybe not in Commander, but if it's legal in Brawl, we're going to take advantage of that card. Hullbreaker Whore here, another great, awesome finisher on the top end of our curve here, just to kind of just start messing with our opponent as we start casting more spells. Beanstalker Giant here, great on both sides here for both ramp and also for a big creature. Corrosion Tusker here. This is one of my favorite little pet cards here. Real quick, I do want to mention that at the height of me playing, before I kind of quit the game for about 15 years, Corrosion Tucker was always a card that I loved playing so much when I was playing back in the Onslaught box. Wow, how long ago was that? Well, how long ago was Onslaught, everybody? 2002? Was it 2002? Oh, wow. I am old. Good Lord. I've been playing for way too long here. But anyways, sorry. Feeling old for a second there. Otherwise, Corrosion Tucker here, great cycling option there, and also just helps us dig for a land. And then finishing up Cosmo Serpent here, another great finisher, can't be countered, and also just creates for us a bunch of Serpent creature tokens. This is, of course, where all the go wide strategy goes into play here. This is another one of our finishers for the deck, Craterhoof Behemoth. Even though we can't play in the deck Natural Order because it's banned in Brawl, this is still a solid option for us to finish off our opponent, and of course, to round it out, the Great Hinge. Whew, that was a lot of cards to go through. This is why I don't do deck text too often for Brawl decks. I run out of breath really quickly. Otherwise, wrapping it up real quick with the land base. So again, we are a budget deck, and I want to make the keep that as fair. So I decided the best option for us to keep this deck as budget as possible, but also making it powerful is, since we are a Simic deck, you don't have to get a bunch of rare lands to make this deck great. That's one of the cool things I like at least about Simic is, because you can ramp so much, you actually don't need every land to be a rare land. So we're just decided to go cheap on the end here. Just only go with all the tap lands. Yes, it may be slow at first, but considering how quickly Bonny Pall will get out of control, I would personally recommend that if you're going to play a Simic deck, at least in Arena, just go with cheap tap lands, and then just invest instead the rares and mythics into the powerful creatures that can help you ramp faster. But otherwise, real quick, Island, Forest, Littjara Mirror Lake for a little bit of copying ability, Lush Oasis, Quadrix Campus, Rimewood Falls, Tangle Islet, Tangle Roof Bridge, Thornwood Falls, and of course your the catch-all for digging out stuff, Broker's Hideout here, a Command Tower is a stable, Demolition Field for a little spot removal on lands, Pit of Offerings here for some pseudo graveyard hate, and Promising Veins to help us dig out another land. But otherwise, whew, okay, sorry. I am so out of breath for that one. But you get the idea, everybody. Let's go ahead, let's just start having some fun with this deck. Okay. Give me a second here, everybody. I need to, move away from the mic to breathe. Okay. I feel a little better now. Okay. Sorry, I had to get a little bit of water. And with that, let's jump now finally into some matches. We're going to play some Brawl. And let's see how big the country can get when we just start overrunning our opponent with Bonny Pall and her giant posse of big creatures. Okay. Looks like our opponent also might be trying to cast some big stuff too, because they're playing Ruby Daring Tracker here. But in any case, ooh my goodness. If you can get in your opening hand Kinnan, it might be over very quickly, because we're going to ramp very fast with this deck. But okay, so we got an island and a forest, which is solid. Bushwhack here to dig. Springleaf Drum for tapping Kinnan, which means that this deck is going to get insane. We have a Roiling Regrowth, and we have a Scoot Swarm. Okay, I think this is actually pretty solid. Doesn't have any one of our big creatures, but this is definitely, I think, something that's going to be really great for us overall, what we're doing. So we'll put down Springleaf Drum first. We can hopefully, ideally, get down Kinnan, and then we could tap, and then we can start just going nuts. Okay, so we got an island. So with that, actually, they might have removal, too. That's also one of those scary things. I forgot it's red. Okay. Change of plans. We're going to hold off for a second here. I know. It's tempting, but I also need to make sure Kinnan survives. At least long enough for us to do our shenanigans. Okay, Ruby's coming down now. Interesting. Okay, so with that, put down, and then we'll put down Kinnan. We can then do our thing here, tap him. Scoot Swarm coming down. Okay, are we going to be able to go wide with bugs here? Well, I guess we're about to find out. Oh my goodness, I love this deck. You're going to see why in just a little bit if we can go off here. You're going to see. This deck is super awesome when it does its thing. Okay. What do you got, opponent? You got Ruby here. So obviously they have to have a lot of big creatures that are going to try to cast just like us. And hopefully we can get down Bonny Pall pretty quick. Regisaur. Okay. Well, that's not too shabby right now. So how do we do this here? How do we do this? Okay. Island. Meg. Again. We will sacrifice one island. We'll get 2 forests. Make some tokens. Here come the bugs, everybody. Okay, so with that, we will, I think, we need to slow down our opponent here. So, Kinnan fighting Ruby. Tap one of our bugs. Get that out of the way. We will then Growth Spiral. All right, well, our whole hand's gone. But we did manage to ramp very quickly. Wow, you can see. This deck is pretty awesome once we can at least start ramping. Yes, our opponent is going to start attacking and start pinging off our Scoot Swarms, but that's actually not the worst for us, because once Bonny Pall comes down, we should be pretty solid here. Okay, opponent. Well, with Ruby also out of the way too, that slows them down a ton. Scoot Swarm gone, but they need to also take out the other Scoot Swarm if they don't want to start losing. Do they have removal? Defiler of Instinct. Okay. So with that, Arcane Signet. Okay. Well, we'll put that down. And here comes Bonny Pall. Make a token. Swing with 2 insects. Come on, deck. Okay, there we go. We did get another Scoot Swarm, which is awesome. So we lose 1 token, which is a shame, but this is fine. So with that, okay, Ball again recovery. We will get back Scoot Swarm. Tap. Okay. Yes, I do agree, TTV Shieldred. The deck does seem to be doing well so far. So far, you can definitely see the deck is definitely flexible because you can go wide when you can, but also you can definitely ramp very, very quickly if your opponent does not have answers. And that's actually one of the best things about this deck. But again, while our opponent is trying to figure out what to do against us, there is, of course, the one thing that I do have to remind everyone. What are the weaknesses to such a deck like this? As you can see, if your opponent has rats, we might have some struggles. But okay, our opponent targeted bow here. So with that, okay. Are they going to do their thing here? They're going to swing? Do I dare block with Bonny Pall? Okay. Okay, our opponent got rid of our other Scoot Swarm, but that's fine, because we did use Ball Again Recovery to get back Scoot Swarm. Okay, Zendikar Royal's not the worst. So, okay. How do we do this here? Okay, so Scoot Swarm coming back. Activate Kinnan. We'll tap one of our insects. Actually, hold on. We'll tap Scoot Swarm. Arboreal Grazer. That doesn't really do anything. I swear, every time I play Arboreal Grazer, this card right here, it never does anything when I need it to. Every single time I play this card. But that's fine. This is fine, everybody. So with that, we'll swing with our Ox. Okay. No extra lands. We have 40 lands in the deck. How are we not getting extra land drops right now? I'm a little baffled. But that's fine. We still have time, everybody. They're down to 15. So actually, we're doing pretty good right now. We're at 16, but we have a ton of blockers. And I think we'll just chump with a Boreal Grazer. That probably might be our best option here. Most likely, our opponent is going to be swinging with Raging Regisaur, and they're going to just ping away Scoot Swarm again. But that's okay. The whole idea that I wanted was just to start going wide with the Scoot Swarms. Okay, they took care of it. Okay. What do we do here? What do we do? Okay. Have you drawn 3 cards if your player doesn't mill? Okay. We'll just forcefully give them 3 cards. I honestly don't want us to start losing stuff too quickly here. We need some more lands, or we just need to go bigger. Okay, well, that is a land, so that is nice for us. So with that, Land of War Elves. We will play Zendikar's Royal. And a forest. Make another land. Okay, so how do we do this here? I guess we'll swing with 1. Okay, a Cultivate's not too shabby. Yes, again, we're going to be losing another creature here. I know, everybody. But we need to still find ways of just getting Bonny Pall to just trigger off. That's what we need. Okay, so with that, 2 more forests. Put 1 on the field. Pumping. And then we make another elemental token. Okay, so they made Smaug. So that token's a little scary. And again, because they got now a flyer that we might have a hard time dealing with. We do have ways of blocking our flyers with a Boreal Grazer. And I guess that card is good for something. Okay, they took out our elf. We're going to start triggering off Kinnan ASAP. Because now we need to start really digging through our deck to get our answers out fast. Because our opponent can close out the game very quickly here, because they also have a lot of first strikers too. Okay, so with that, our opponent is playing Ruby now. And they're slowly starting to ping away our board, which is annoying. It's fine, everybody. Okay, They're going to try to ping again. What will they ping? Oh, they just go to base. Okay. Down to 15. So with that, how do we stop our opponent here? Okay, so I think Raging Registrar's got to go. We can then block with Smog, Arboreal Grazer, and... Wait, does Gearhulk have a trigger if they die? Okay, so they don't. And I guess we'll just let the rest go. I don't want to risk us having Bonny Pall die immediately. We need to keep her out as much as possible. So down to 11. They make a treasure token. Do you have another answer, opponent? You got 4 mana open, which makes me a little scared. Opponent is looking and thinking. Come on, opponent. No rush, of course, but I would like to know. Okay. Merciless Fury. Okay, so they sacrifice. They take out our Ox, which is sad. That's fine, everybody. Register is down. We're down to only our 2 main creatures here. So with that, I guess now will be the time to just... Okay, so we got Zendikar's Royal going again. We will tap here. Get the mana. Trigger Kinnan. Come on, deck. Give me an answer. Okay, tap Yova. Trigger again. Come on, deck. Give me another hit. Ooh, okay. Now we're talking here. Primeval Titan. Nice. So we will then get some more land drops. But the good news now is we can definitely start getting some of our better stuff out here. So with that, what do we get? Let's see. I guess we'll just get out Demolition Field. There we go. Now we're stabilizing better. Okay. Much, much better. Okay. And we sacrifice the Broker's Hideout. We'll get another land drop. We'll get another forest. Oh my gosh, I love this deck. Now it's going off. Again, even though I'm not a big fan of Simic, I'm not going to lie. That was a pretty solid comeback right there. So with that, we can then swing right here. Do they block with their Facebreaker? Man, we're just going off right here. Now we're recovering. Even if Kinnan dies, which is fine. I'm expecting Kinnan to die right here anyway. We're definitely just trying to go off right here and just get as many lands as possible. And just beat down our opponent. Huh. Okay, back up to 18. Okay. Much, much better. Okay. Those were great hits. I actually realized I probably didn't have this with them. But we want our opponent down to 3 now. So we should be able to beat down our opponent very quickly here with what we got. Although we do have a lot of blue. Maybe I should have gotten some more blue sources instead. But also we have a Bayeen Veil, which is great to slow down our opponent if we need to in a pinch. Okay, opponent sacrifices a treasure to get a land drop. We do have quite a few elementals now, so this should be enough for us to stop our opponent here. Because unless they have life gain, I think we should be fine. Children, I'm more of a Rakdos player. Yes. Is it because you are also... It's because you dibbed yourself Shieldred? Are you more of like a Rakdos mid-range, burn style, aggro, control even? Actually, that would be kind of spicy. Think of it that way. A spicy Rakdos control deck? Maybe I might consider that in the future. Idea to write down for later. But yes. What are your favorite cards then, Shieldred? Is Shieldred your actual favorite card? I would assume so if you named yourself that. But otherwise... Okay, so how do we beat down our opponent here? So... Oh, okay. Well, our opponent scoops it up. Woohoo! Did we have fun this match? Yes. Yes, we did. So yes. All right, so before we go to the next match, how did we win there, you may be wondering? Okay, so as you can see, even though our opponent went and had quite a few creatures here, we were able to go wider very quickly here, and we had a ton of ways of just going even wider because we had Murmuring Mystic. That was my next game plan, was Murmuring Mystic, then start softening them all up with Bayeen Veil, maybe do a couple of counter spells just to make some more tokens, and we actually would have gone off very easily. Oh yeah, and I also forgot, obviously we have Primeval Titan, so that's actually something else I would highly recommend to have. So, yay! We got our win. That was awesome. Get a free card right here. Collector's Vault. Actually, this is a pretty cool little card. I would definitely say great for budget decks in the future. All right, so we'll jump into our next match and see how well our deck continually does. Shieldred is one of my favorite, but I'm a demon lover. Okay. So do you have... So Shieldred, do you have a demon themed creature deck, do you have an EDH one, a 60-card deck in any way, shape, or form? Yeah. Which do you play? And do you play like just Rakdos? Do you play like mono black demons? Maybe Mardu demons? Is it? Let me know what kind of deck do you actually have that actually you play with demons? I would love to hear. Otherwise, okay, so we have Lorien Reveal, which is great. We have a lot of lands. Tatyova, which is really solid for us as we can start refueling our hand quickly. And Crozian Tusker, one of my cute little favorite pet cards I talked about earlier. Really solid here. This is definitely a land-heavy hand here, but it's exactly what you want this deck to have. Is you want to be able to start getting a ton of land drops ASAP. Our opponent is playing a Layla. That's actually a really cool card. I actually do like this card. Actually, when we jump back into streaming maybe like 2 months ago, I actually came back with an Layla deck. So if you haven't seen that stream, that replay is up on YouTube. So check that out if you haven't already done so. This is actually a pretty solid fairy commander. But okay, moving on. Enough shilling from me. We will play Springleaf Drum. And we will pass. So, game plan right now. We just need to get to our lands. Lorien Reveal. We will look for... We get Rimewood Falls. It's a tap land, but it's actually really helpful for our decks. So, Rimewood Falls, down, pass the turn. Okay, so, what exactly... Opponent hasn't played anything yet, so I'm a little concerned. So in the meantime, we'll play our Atrix Methys Slumbering Isle. Okay, so looks like they're going to be focusing mostly on the tempo game plan here. Here comes a Layla. Alright, so we need to start ramping to get ahead of our opponent here. So in order to pull that off, Tireless Provisioner. Make a treasure token. Thirsting Roots. We will dig. I know, we just sacrificed our treasure there, but this is just to help out our game plan moving it along. Another land. Make a treasure. And we pass. Okay. Not too shabby, right? We definitely now have plenty of lands. Let's see, Shieldred. Yeah, I have a Brawl deck around Raphael Fiendish Savior, and I also made him as a commander deck. Ooh. Do you have the deck list for that? You should definitely drop it. I would love to see it, because I loved seeing what other people are kind of coming up with. Okay. Our opponent threw away our Atrix, which is annoying. Totally annoying, but this is fine. But yeah, definitely show off that deck if you can. Maybe, I don't know, like, I guess you could leave it in the comments, like, afterwards or something like that, however you can. Or you can also leave it if you're watching from, like, X. You could also check it there, too, because I also check that. Okay. So, we need to get back into this fight and start getting some more... We need to get some more card draw. So, here's what we're going to do. We'll pat down Tatyova now. Unless our opponent has a counterspell. Hopefully not. Please don't have a counterspell opponent. I want Tatyova. Okay. Whew. Okay, she did resolve. Lush Oasis coming down. We ping our opponent for 1. Make a treasure token. Draw a card, gain some life. Okay, so how do we do this here? I think we'll cycle that later on. C-Note Scout. Wow, I cannot say words. But okay. Let's see. Do we want to do this here? We have enough lands and we have enough ramp, so I think we're good there. I think this next turn will be the turn where we can put down Bonny Pall, and we should be good to start doing our thing. But our opponent also has 3 cards left. Okay. So they're gonna start making. They're gonna start pumping up Alayla now. They do their swings. We go down to 13. And Crozian Tusker cycled. We will then tap our Scout. We will dig for a land. And I guess we'll get an island. Okay. And we cycle. That's also why I love Crozian Tusker. You still get the card draw, and you get to dig for a land. So that's actually not too bad of a rate for 3 mana. That's actually really solid. Okay, Bonny Pall coming down. And do you have an answer, opponent? They have Spell Stutter. Okay. But the good news is we have Negate. Oh, yeah. Whew. Beautiful. All right. Island. And this also triggers... Make a treasure. Draw a card. We will then... Oh, man. I want to swing, but they're just going to take out... Okay. No attacks. We're just going to hold off. Okay. It was tempting to swing, but we're going to hold off. But the good news I was going to say is Stubborn Denial now can be triggered now that we have our ability. Oh my gosh, we just got Primeval Titan. Oh, and they're tapped out too. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, beautiful. This is perfect. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay. Oh, Shieldred. He's from Baldur's Gate set, and if you have a Discord, I can post it to you there. I can also think it can be a deck for you to make like today. Okay. I know a lot of you have been asking if we have a Discord. Maybe I might move up that soon. I know some of you have been asking for it. And it's not that I don't want to do a Discord. I don't know if I have enough time to run a whole Discord. But that'll be something that I definitely want to start looking at doing. So, we will get Demolition Field. Get a bunch of triggers here. Make a treasure. Make a treasure. Draw a card. Draw a card. Okay. If enough of you really want to see it, maybe I'll put it to a poll. Maybe on our next poll, maybe later this week, I'll ask, do you all want to see me put together a Discord? So at least this way you can just start submitting fun deck ideas. Maybe we can all start sharing some cool stuff all together. Maybe that actually would be something great that all of you can help out in doing. If you all want to see at least that, maybe making our community a little bit bigger, a little bit more fun to interact with. We're just going off right here. Oh, I love this deck. Wow, this deck is actually really solid. It's not too shabby for what it is. Look at how we are just going off here. All right, so with that, we definitely came back. I think we'll just escape Uro now since we have the chance to do so. Let's see, so how we do this. Okay, Broker's Hideout, negate, Mana Leaf Pixie. Okay, and then Thirsting Roots. And Explore. Okay. Escaping. Yes, this deck is so awesome. Woo! Okay. More card draw. Another treasure so we can keep playing. Okay, so with that, Murmuring Mystic. And then with that, we will swing with our Giant Ox. Draw a card. Put another force into play. This deck is awesome. Oh my goodness. Jeez, we are just going off. Our opponent really, I don't even know if they can really keep up with us at this point. Take out their fairy. And then I guess we'll pass the turn there finally. Wow, what a turn that was. That was super awesome. Wow. I'm really impressed with how this deck actually works. So with that, Stubborn Denial. So we make a bird. We cancel that. We can't have any of their tokens start getting too strong against us here. That's why we have to counterspell that. Ornithopter Paradise. That's fine. Okay. Do you swing opponent? They do not. Okay. Spore Mound. Oh my goodness. The shenanigans still keep going with this deck. Woo! Okay. We will then play another forest. Make a treasure. Make a token. Draw a card. Oh my god, this deck. Whew, man. I'm sorry. I'm just having way too much fun over here. So we will sacrifice one of our cards. We'll get 2 more land drops. Wow, having 40 lands feels like it's still... Oh my goodness. And there you have it, everybody. Oh, wow. My goodness. We had so much value with that deck. Oh, man. Wow. I love how this deck works. As you saw right there, look at this. I think I need to screenshot this for future reference here, everybody. Give me a second here. I want to screenshot this. We're going to highlight this for those of you who don't watch the streams. Maybe if you haven't seen the streams at all, this is definitely going to be one of those highlights I definitely want to say is something I'm going to want to keep for future reference. So give me a second here. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do a quick little screenshot here. And we'll keep that. Okay. So there we go, everybody. That is the power of a deck that only needs 15 rares. Those rares are expensive in paper, but here in Arena, this is what you can do, and you don't even need a single rare or mythic land to pull off these shenanigans. That was actually awesome. Yep. Big landfall. Okay. Whew. Okay. I'm feeling super good about that, everybody. Let's go ahead. Let's have some more fun here. So, I'm looking at the clock right now. So, we're past the halfway point on the stream, everybody. And I do want to remind everyone, I'm not a long-term streamer. I only get to do streams at best once a week, maybe on either a Tuesday or Wednesday. So if you do want to catch future streams, that's mostly the days I'm going to pick. It's only just based upon my schedule. And also for those of you that are still catching me, whether it's, again, live right now, or if you want to catch me later on, again, I can't stream as long as I would like to, only just because, again, I do have a quote-unquote big boy job, so I do need to get to that as soon as we're done with the stream here. But don't worry, if you do miss any parts of the stream, you'll be sure to check this all out in the future. It'll be posted on multiple locations. You can literally just see right here on the bottom right now, exactly, just put in at Infernoman64. On any of these locations, you should be able to find me, no problem. Okay, so going back to the game here. So we do have Pit of Offerings. We do have a Forest. Opponent's doing a little fetch land shenanigans. What do they have? Oh, okay, I haven't seen anybody play Muldrotha in a long time, so it's going to be a lot of graveyard shenanigans. So let's see if that's something that we have to be careful of. But until then, let's start ramping. Lots of ramp. So we'll get our island. Hopefully if our opponent starts throwing away more lands, maybe we can snipe a couple of them with Pit of Offerings. Okay, Outlandish Liberator. Put down an island. And our opponent down flips. We don't have anything to stop that just yet, but we hopefully will have something soon. All right. What do you got, opponent? Another land drop. They consider. So they're digging. Okay, we got to cultivate, which is nice. So for that, how do we do this here? Do we take the chance now? I think we'll just take a chance now. Scoot Swarm. They can't get rid of it anyway with this because Frenzy Trap Breaker only worries about artifacts and enchantments. So as long as we just keep ramping with our lands, we should be okay for a little bit longer. Am I right? Otherwise, okay. So, and for those of you that are wondering right now, we're probably going to play at most another 30 to 40 minutes. And then maybe at around... No. It's fine. I'm not mad. It's okay, everybody. We can still come back. Broker's Hideout. So with that, we will play Cultivate. Put a forest and an island. Island goes down. Forest goes down. And we pass. Okay. So, again, as I was mentioning, we're probably just going to play maybe a little bit longer. And we'll just... Mostly we'll just see how long we can get there. We'll obviously do an evaluation, as I mentioned earlier, of the deck when we can. But until then... Our Slumbering Isle goes down. Let's see. I guess we can do it now. Pit of Offerings. Let us eat those cards. From our graveyard, we'll take the Thirsting Roots. This way it at least fixes what we need for our mana base. Yep. I like Yarok the Desecrated more than Muldrotha at the Gravetide. Shieldred, I definitely agree with that one. I absolutely love playing Yarok. Value Town all day long. Every day. Actually, now that you brought that up, that was actually one of our earliest decks that I actually did as a video. It didn't get that many views, but it is something that I would love to maybe reevaluate in the future, and maybe we can have a little bit of fun with that for those of you that are interested. I do have a Yarok deck, but maybe we'll wait a little bit longer. I want to see how many Panharmonicon effects you can fit into one deck to maybe just do a silly amount of doubling, tripling, quadrupling triggers. Maybe that would be something that we can do maybe sometime later on in the summer once I get past the majority of the decks that I want to do for the Timeless format. After Modern Horizons 3, of course. In any case, you only have it in Commander. Yes. I definitely would say it's definitely the best option for you in a Commander deck. Okay. Slumbering Isle. We will now take off one. We will make our Ox. This will mean that Stubborn Denial now gets turned on, which is great. All right. Opponent lets us do our thing there. We will play Elvish Mystic. Crack another. Broker's Hideout. Sack it immediately. We'll get our thing here. And we pass. Okay, opponents. So, the good news now is we definitely have now a big board state. So, we definitely have our big Ox. But our opponent has a little bit of removal, which I realize now I probably should have been more careful with, but that's okay. That's fine, everybody. We still got time. We have more than enough lands to get Bonny Pall going again. Garrick. Okay. I'll play Garrick. That's fine. I'm going to destroy a creature. After Bonny Pall dies, we will then bring her back. She's super expensive now, by the way. That's actually one of the other weaknesses to the deck is if Bonny Pall does not survive, it's going to be really hard for us to kind of get her back onto the field. So consider that again as one of the other weaknesses to the deck. And FYI, everybody. But otherwise, how else do we want to do this? Ether Spellbomb. Okay, so I'm assuming our opponent's going to do that to bounce away our token. That's what I'm assuming they're going to do. Okay, another island, which is great. So with that, we will Spring Bloom Druid. Take off another counter. We'll sacrifice some lands. Or at least one land. Okay. For those of you that are still watching right now, and for those of you maybe who are also watching a replay, what kind of commander decks do you all have currently? Like, how many do you actually have? Right now on my shelf, I'm actually looking at my shelf right now. I think I have fully completed like 4 or 5 decks, but I have, at least in my actual collection, I think I have like 8 or 9. There's half of them I haven't sleeved yet, and I might want to consider just, I don't know, redoing a little bit more. Oh, I realize now. I'm dumb. I probably should not have done that because now I have another Ox that I can't use. Okay. Wow. Wait, hold on. No, I actually picked the wrong one. I am so dumb right now. Wow. I should have been paying attention. Okay. It's fine, everybody. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. So they're going to draw a card. Okay. So our opponent obviously has a Baleful Mastery, which I'm still looking at as going to be a way they're going to try to get rid of our stuff here. But okay. I think our next option here, so Baleful Mastery, they exile Bonny Pall again. We bring her back. Wow, I messed that up so hard right there. I hope that didn't cost me the game. Hopefully not. Okay. That makes some wolves.
You cannot run or hide.
Do you attack opponents? They do not. Okay, so with that, how do we do this? I think we'll do this. Turn on. Let's see. Okay, how do we... Okay, so we're going to wash away that mana drain. We cannot afford to have that go off. Okay, so we turn on our Slumbering Isle. We counter the mana drain. Woo! Okay. Okay. So you only have 3 decks? That's still cool. You don't have to have like a ton of decks. I mean, I have a bad habit of buying too much product. I probably have also packs that are on my desk right now that I really should be cracking and making some videos out of. But still, 3 is cool. So you have the Raphael Fiendish Savior, Yarok the Desecrated, and Grim Grin the Corpse Spawn. Oh, I haven't actually seen a deck like that. I would love to see that if you actually do that. So yeah, those sound pretty cool. I'd like to check those out at some point. All right. Our Ox at this point is a 10-10, so we're just going to go swing in the face. Our opponent obviously here is going to just start making more stuff go off. So they're going to put loyalty counters on Garrick. I don't know if we have an answer to Garrick off the top of our deck. We just need to some way, somehow go bigger than, faster than he can. That's our main concern, I guess. All right, another land for opponent. Another land for opponent. They only have 1 card in hand. I can't see what it is. our opponent, yeah, they destroy our island.
More than I thought.
It's fine, everybody. It's fine. Uro coming down. So they do to get to draw a card. They get to make their land drop again. Wow, our opponent is actually kind of outdoing us here with lands. Grim Grin is zombie tribal deck. Oh, okay. That's cool. I am a fan of zombies. They get a lot of support, though. So I probably will look that up later on, because I can't remember what the card does off the top of my head. So unless if you want to kind of tell me for me, Shieldred, I honestly not sure off the top of my head how it works. But I would love to hear it. Okay, so this time... Wow. Wow, that's annoying. Okay, so... back to our hand again. I don't know if we're going to be able to cast Bonny Pall anymore. So which is going to be annoying, but that's fine. Go into face. Our opponent now is going to have no choice but to start chump blocking just to get stuff out of the way. Alright. Threat's down. They're on a clock now at this point, because we could still do our thing. We have 3 counter spells in hand. Although, honestly, we just need a card draw engine. That's what we need right now to get back into this fight. We're down to 8, though. So we are running a little low on time. Okay, so what do you got, opponent? At this point, all they have is now Uro. So, alright. You're playing Uro. Okay, so they do have Lily on it now, which I'm guessing they're going to cast. And they're going to start probably making tokens. Because that's what they're going to use to actually get back into this fight. I'm taking it. Right. Okay, so Grim Grin comes in tapped, sacrifices a creature to untap, and gets a counter. Then he attacks, destroys any creature you want. Okay. Ooh, okay. That's kind of spicy. That sounds kind of cool, though, too. I kind of like what that sounds like it's doing. Okay, make disappear. So I think what we're going to need to do here is I'm actually just going to draw some cards. We need to get back into this fight, and I need something else. As much as I love Bonny Pall, we're going to need another option here to get through stuff. So how do we do this? Okay, so I think Spell Pierce at this point may not help us all that much. Or Stubborn Denial. Okay, so with that, Nissa. And we might do Lorien Reveal. Oh, actually, hold on. How do we do this? How do we get out of this? I think swinging at our opponent, we're here. Okay, they're going to probably just start drawing a ton of cards. Yeah, this is really awkward. Okay. They could definitely chump block. But what would they chump block? Token. I'm guessing, okay, Land of War Elves? Okay. You can run him with the Decay mechanic or basic zombie tokens. Okay. Interesting. That sounds kind of cool still. I like that. Okay, so opponent's got some more cards in hand. At the very least, because of Oracle, we can at least see what their hand is doing. So they have a lot of lands, but they don't really have much action against us. So that does buy us a little bit of time. Okay, so Muldrotha is now officially coming in. So with that. Okay, so Muldrotha doing its thing. All right. Okay, so with that, we will definitely counterspell that. We'll play Casualty. So Springwound Druid's got to go bye-bye. We can't have Garrett come back in. Not yet. So, do you pay, opponent? I don't think they have enough mana. Alright. Oh, I forgot. They actually can pay it with the Phyrexian Tower? Well, that's awkward. But that means they have to sacrifice something. Okay. Outland Liberator goes. So. Alright. Alright, it's fine. Garrett comes back down again. Okay, so, yeah, I figured. Okay. We're losing a little bit of momentum with this fight. I don't know if we're going to be able to win this one, but we're going to keep trying. We can't give up just yet. We are down, but we are not out. Opponent here is going to swing. They will draw a card and put a land into play. Okay, well, they also have Lotus Cobra, so they're out landfalling us, which is annoying. But this is fine, everybody. Okay. Okay, we're just going to have to take the hit here. We're down to 2, so this might be over soon. I don't know how we can get back from this, but we're going to try. So, Hullbreaker Horror is not the worst. But I don't know if it's too little too late now. Okay. Let's do this. So, draw 3 cards. Island going down. Make our land drop here. Hullbreaker Horror. And, okay, so with that... Okay, so... Take out the token. Again, we just can't get through their tokens. Both of their planeswalkers can keep drawing cards off of tokens. So, that's really annoying, unfortunately. What will you do, opponent? Are you going to play Arcane Signets? Alright. Okay, so... They make more tokens. They sacrifice. I don't even know if Tyvar Stan's going to do anything here. Okay, so... Okay, so I guess Nissa and Bo go bye-bye. Okay. Breathe again. Not sure if we're going to be able to win here, everybody, but that's okay. We can still keep playing a little bit longer. We still have time to play a bit more. Okay. So while our opponent is just trying to go off here and go crazy, is there any cards that... I don't even know how to ask this. Like, what's your card that all of you are most excited about from the set? Okay. I think at this point we'll just concede. Okay. I know. I usually don't like to concede immediately, but that one we were not going to win. We just couldn't find a way to get around that. So I'll just take the L now, and we'll just move on to the next match. That's okay. Moving on. Yeah, what is there a card that all of you are excited to see from the upcoming set? From Modern Horizons 3, is it a commander card? Is it a card from the main set? Is there something that maybe you're super happy to see come from a legacy into modern? Let me know. I would love to hear what you're all excited for, because we're only now a couple weeks out from actually getting these cards in the set. Okay, so opponent is playing dragons here. They're playing Tiamat, which is very, very strong. A little scary, but it is. We can still fight against it. Okay, so good news here is we do have a go wide plan, and we do have a treasure plan here. We just need at least one green source, and we can make this work. I'm not the biggest fan of Modern Horizons 3. I'm more looking forward to the Assassin's Creed crossover. Okay. So with that, Shieldred, would you consider yourself a bigger fan of, like, is it just the game series in general? Are you a big fan of that? Are you a big fan of any of the other crossover games that have actually come out with Universes Beyond sets? And I think that's maybe, I would ask that to the rest of the room here are there any Universes Beyonds that all of you were happy to see enter officially into Magic? Were any of you a fan of, like, the Fallout sets? I know some of you mentioned the D&D sets, which obviously fits very well with Magic. But what about, again, like Lord of the Rings or any of the other sets? I would love to hear from all of you if you want to mention, like, what you like. And again, it doesn't have to be anything that you absolutely like. It can also be something that maybe you're not a fan of initially. Okay, if our opponent's playing Alchemy cards here. So, I have played with all the games, and yeah, I'm happy with Warhammer. Honestly, even though, like, my nephew is actually a bigger Warhammer fan than I am, I think it's a cool series, and even though I'm not really a big fan, I ended up just buying one of the precons because I actually thought it was actually a really cool one. The Necron Dynasty one, I thought that one was really cool. So I figured, you know what? I don't have a precon mono black deck. So I figured right when the pre-orders went out, you know what? I said, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's grab it. Even though I'm not a huge fan of it, I do think the deck is cool. And I would love to kind of maybe dive into it a little bit more when I have a little bit more time to kind of look into that series. So that'd be something I would love to do in the future. But yeah, I'm glad that you like that other set. Is there any upcoming Universes Beyonds that some of you would like to see, or anything that they've announced that some of you would be interested in checking out? Same thing, let me know. And I would love to hear your thoughts on what you're interested in. So we're not going to cast anything just yet because based on what our opponent's trying to do here, I don't know if they have removal yet. I at least want to get one treasure off of Tyler's Provisioner. That at least would help us slowly ramp. My friend got the Chaos one full of Cascade. Okay. That one sounds pretty spicy. But yes, that actually is kind of cool too. So, Tireless Provisioner. Alright. Put down an island. We'll make a treasure. We can start ramping. Ramping away. That's not, again, the name of the game. If we can start ramping, we'll be in a good spot. Okay, Bloodstained Mire. Opponent, I think, at this point might actually have all their mana fixed. So, will they cast Tiamat in the next turn or two? That's a good question, actually. So. Whew, okay. Give me a second here. I'm going to take a quick little swig of water while our opponent is also trying to search for their land of choice. Whew, okay. Whew. Much better. Much better. Okay. Always hydrated, everybody. Okay. So with that, opponent's got their Triome. And okay. Then it's our turn now. Okay. Wow, we're not getting really any forests, which is awkward. But we do have treasures at least to kind of close the gap there, so to speak. Alright, we'll pass the turn. I think what I'm going to try to do is maybe I can bring in Hullbreaker Horror, so this way I can start bouncing away all their shenanigans, whatever they play, over the next couple turns. That actually might be our best solution here, at least to get around our opponent's stuff. We'll see if we can pull off that soon. Okay. Opponent's got land drop number 6. Alright. What do you got, opponents? What do you got? Haven't played anything, so I'm either not worried or I'm completely concerned as to what those 5 cards are. Buried in the Garden. Okay, so we will play. Okay, hold on. I guess we'll just do this now. Counterspell that. Okay. Phew. Okay, so Dance of the Tumbleweeds. We will pay the 2. We'll get a desert land, so it's a desert duel. Lush Oasis coming in. Make another treasure. Put an island down. Make another treasure. Alright, I know it's not the most glamorous, most exciting match right now, but it's slow and steady here is winning the race because, again, we got to be mindful of what are they playing. Alright, so they have their mana fixed now with the World Tree. So, yes, we definitely got to bounce the dragon. Okay. Alright. Oh, okay. Invasion of Alara. I actually just cracked this in a pack just a couple days ago in a short that I actually put it up. What does this card do again? I totally forgot. It does like 50 things. Okay, enters the battlefield. Exile cards on the top of your library until you exile 2 non-land cards. Okay. Okay. I'm going to let that resolve. Okay. So, what do they hit? Okay. I see. All right. So, all right. Hullbreaker Horror coming in. Cashing in all of our treasures to make this work. All right, so with that, we will Scoot Swarm. How do we do this here? Actually, hold on. Oh, wait. Did I? Wow. I'm so dumb right there. I actually ignored the trigger and did not bounce back the trend. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Everybody's fine. Please don't yell at me for that. Wow, I can't believe I just misclicked that. Okay, well, they're down to 7. So maybe we can try to find a way to get around this. Okay. I think we might be able to get around this. I think we still can. So, here's what I'm thinking. Even though I completely made a mistake right there, I don't know why I did that. We were still going to try to find a way to get around that. But yes. Oh, never mind. Our opponent just scooped it up. Wow, I punted there, and some way, I guess our opponent just didn't have an answer. Yay. I'll still take that win. I guess. Okay. Hey, yeah, you're right, Shielder. Mistakes are made, but I guess our opponent didn't have an answer. I mean, they had 4 cards in hand. They still had dragons, but I guess they were maybe too scared of us having counterspells. Yay. I totally bluffed our way out of that one. Yeah. All right. Moving on. We'll just take a win. Yeah. It happens, you know. It happens. Some of us sometimes just meant to do certain things. Yeah. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Okay. Any case, let's go ahead. Let's continue. So with that, all right. And also, I need to be mindful again. I'm looking at the clock right now. So I'm looking at right now ending the stream in probably the next 20 minutes. So I know it's not a long stream, but this is the best I can do. So those of you who are still sticking with me throughout the stream, thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support. But if you do want to really support me and give me a little bit of love, check out any one of my videos on YouTube. Even just watching a little bit, even if you're not like the biggest fan of any of the decks that I do, a little bit of help right there goes a long way in providing some great support for me. Giving a like, sharing those super budget deck techs with your friends definitely also helps me out too. Everything is kind of honestly just going towards making us hopefully in the future going a little bit bigger. Ideally, if I can monetize with YouTube, then actually would be in a really good spot to help kind of really build this channel. Maybe we can actually really build a really awesome community of ultra budget enthusiasts out there. But that's actually what I would hope to achieve by doing these videos. In any case, okay, so going back to the match here. So we do have, okay, they're playing Shadowborn Apostle. Okay. So what deck are they? Okay. All right. I think I see what their shenanigans are here. Okay. I don't know if we can get around this gimmick, but we'll see. Yeah. Coma is definitely a naughty, dirty little card, but I couldn't help myself. So, yeah, sorry, Shoulder. We definitely had to use it. But at least on our end, this is a really evil little card. But we're going to see if we can try to get there with that later on. So, until then, let's play Kinnan. So, we are shields down for a turn here. If our opponent just keeps playing Shadowborn Apostles, maybe we can get there. All right, so they are going to do this. We're going to have to save the You Finds the Villains that are as a counterspell against Tabarax if we really, really have to. So, all we just need to do is ramp, and we should be fine here. I mean, I know. I've been saying that the whole time. Ramp, and we can actually do stuff. But seriously, if they're going to try this gimmick here... Okay, so they are all in on the gimmick. Let's see. But is it enough? Okay, so for those of you who actually haven't seen this gimmick, or maybe a little bit too young to know this one, Shadowborn Apostle here is usually part of some kind of weird gimmicky thing. As you can see right here, a deck can have any number of the card. However, you can pay 1 and sacrifice 6 of these cards to then dig for a demon card and then immediately put it to the battlefield. So I'm assuming they have to have some kind of... I don't know which demon they're going to try to get out of the Shadowborn Apostle deck, but that's their whole plan is. They need to have at least 6 Shadowborn Apostles to pull this off. But can they do that? We can bounce away some of the Shadowborn Apostles if we need to, or I think what maybe our best bet is to bounce away whatever demon they get back to their hand, which kind of puts them in a really awkward spot. So I think that's our best solution here. Put down Litjara. It's tempting to attack, but also I don't want to lose Kinnan. Just on the off chance that they actually might be cheeky enough to think they can block, so we're just going to hold off. Depending on also how these matches go, I think after this one, maybe to play it safe, I might only do one more match after this, just to kind of round out things out, and then we'll just take the remaining time to talk about things. So, it all depends here on what our opponent's going to do. Okay, so... Alright, so with that, if they swing, we'll definitely block, so that slows them down. But otherwise, Tabarak's here. I'm not sure how I want to do this. We could definitely slow them down. That's not a problem. We just need to find a way to actually just start ramping. We're kind of spinning our wheels here, which is a little awkward. No one's really doing anything, but okay. Razakath is a scary demon for them yet. Oh yeah, yes. That one probably is going to be the one we have to really worry about. So they have enough mana where if they do cast all their Shadowborn Apostles, that probably might be the one that I'm going to be the most worried about. But we do have counter spells, and we do have bounce spells. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that we can't do it. We just need to find a way to just get around what they currently have. Okay, Shadowborn Apostle again. Okay, opponent, you got 4. That's 5. I kind of wish we had a counterspell that countered a triggered ability. I think that's probably would have been our best option here. So, here's what we're going to do. Okay. So, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to bounce this. They're going to get their triggers right now. Oh, man, I realized maybe I should have done that earlier. Okay. So, they refuel their hand. Yeah, I realize now I probably should have done that ahead of time. I didn't hit full control until it was too late. Okay. So, even though they'll probably get a demon out, we can still bounce it if we have to in just a moment. Grizzlebrand. Oh, okay. So, with that, we can't afford to have Grizzlebrand go off. So, Grizzlebrand's got to go. Okay. I forgot Grizzlebrand was actually in here. I totally forgot Grizzlebrand was a thing. Although, in actual Commander, Grizzlebrand is banned, so... Okay. I'm going to go swinging here. If we have another bounce spell, we might be able to slow them down a bit. Although, I don't think I'm going to get around this gimmick, because I think I kind of fumble this, but that's okay. That's fine. Sorry, everybody. It's just, again, it's not something I play against too much here, but I'm going to have to also go down to hand size here. But in any case, I think we might, like, if we can get maybe Bonny Pall out, we can block the demon. Okay. Thinking this through, I guess it really depends on if we draw into anything. If we don't, we lose. If we do, maybe we have a shot. Okay, so we draw a card. So it is a land. So with that, okay, we need 7 for Kinnan to go off here. So with that, okay, so that's not the worst. Throw away the negate because it's mostly creature spells. And, okay, throw away the wash away, which is awkward. Down to 18. Okay, so I don't even know how we get out of this. Dark Ritual. Okay. Spring Leaf Drum. Okay. Opponent. Shadowborn Apostle again. 2. 3. They'll probably go swinging. Oh, I totally forgot about that. Shieldred itself is not a demon, but if she was, good lord, that would have destroyed us completely. I totally forgot that's actually a combo here in this format. So. Okay. So. Bonny Pall coming down. The only reason why I'm doing this now is at least it gives us a blocker for a turn. Okay, we'll put down the land. I don't think our opponent's going to block, obviously, because they need the Shadowborn Apostles to do their thing. Wow. Okay, they actually did. So, of course, that's probably going to trigger off here. Down to 25, down to 24. Okay. Yeah. Shadowborn Apostle again. Do you do your thing, opponent? They swing. We could only block once. So our only hope right now is we need either a bounce spell or... Okay, the fight spell doesn't help us now. We don't have enough mana. Oh, man. No, we don't have a way of getting around this. Ah, dang. Dang. Okay, hold on. Cultivate. What's it at 8? What's it at 9? Oh, man, we're just out of range. No! We can't win. All right, all right. We'll just concede. We can't, even if we fight it, it's just not enough damage. Dang. Okay. All right, everyone. Okay, we're going to do one more. We'll do one more match. Whatever happens, we're going to put a clock on ourselves right now, everybody. We've got 10 minutes left in the stream. And we're going to see, can we at least finish off this stream with one good win? We just want one more win, and then hopefully we can just end the stream. I'll do, again, a quick little wrap-up about how the deck does, and then we'll talk about some brief things. For those of you that have stuck around this late into the stream, thank you one more time. For those of you that are sticking around, you'll get a chance again to see what are we going to be previewing in the next couple of YouTube videos coming out. So stick around for that. We will wrap that up, and then we will end the stream on that note. Okay, so Forest, Explore. We're just going to try to ramp as fast as we can. Spare a Sentinel. Okay, well, not too shabby. We are getting there. Our opponent is playing an Alchemy card. I don't like Alchemy cards personally, but again, they're free to play them. So with that, Spring Leaf, Spring Bloom Druid, Spring Bloom Druid. I can't spell words right now. Okay, sacrifice a land. We'll get a forest, and we'll get another island. We will then swing with our one and only elf. Okay, so we do have at least enough to start doing our thing here. Okay. Ooh. All right. I don't know. Okay, it has a Death Touch too, which is disgusting. So, here's how we do this. Bonny Pall coming in. Make our small, but still pretty powerful Ox. Orochi Merge Keeper. Okay, I'm gonna start doing. See, this is why I'm not a fan of alchemy cards. If anybody out there that watches the stream, if you like alchemy cards, again, I'm not gonna stop you from playing alchemy cards, but look at that play pattern. That's just disgusting. I'm not really a fan of what it's capable of doing, but far be it from me to then stop anybody from liking this. Okay, so here's how we do this. Pay nothing. We'll do it on the Ox. It now has Indestructible. We will play Decisive Denial. We will fight and get their annoying Death Toucher out of the way. So that goes back to their hand. Play Arcane Signet. It's still indestructible, so we're going to swing. Get a land. Pump it up. They can block if they want to. That's fine. It's still indestructible, so it gets rid of a snake. Okay. Whew. All right. So from here, we wash away. I love this. This is dirty. I should feel bad for this, but I don't, because I just don't want to deal with that. But okay. That worked. So with that, not too shabby. And we'll pass here. All right. So here, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is actually going to be hilarious here. Watch. Okay. We'll put down the land. Opponent, do you dare? Yeah, you do. Bayeen Veil. Yes, secret tech, everybody. Oh, yes. So, Death Touch doesn't do anything now. Down to 16. All right. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you want to do. Okay. Opponent. No, no, no. Oh, I feel dirty. Yes. Yes. Okay. I think we're going to cut it there, everybody. Definitely had fun with that one. That was fun. Okay. You can see right there, as annoying as that deck was, we found a way around it right there at the last minute. So that was a great way. I think we're going to cut it there, everybody. We'll end the stream in just a few moments. But again, as I mentioned, we're going to now just talk about the deck before we finish. So All right. Back up here. And then we'll go to Big Country. Okay, so that's it, everybody. That was Bonny Pall for the Brawl format. And you tell me in the comments below, or at least here on the stream, what do you think? Would you play the version we played today in any way, shape, or form? To be perfectly honest with you, I'm really satisfied with the deck. There were some moments where we did have some stumbles, but even at a budget of about 13, 14 rares, I think this deck is pretty solid, and I actually probably would recommend it, at least here in Arena. Granted, yes, in paper, there are going to be some really expensive cards here. Uro's expensive, of course, and our Slumbering Isle. Cosmo Serpent's actually not that expensive, but obviously cards like the Great Henge, really, really expensive. So again, your mileage may vary if you actually want to try something like this in a different format, or at least want to play this. But at least here in Arena, this is definitely an affordable, really awesome deck that can go super big, as you saw today. It can go super wide when you want to. And when the engines go off, the amount of card draw you get is hilarious. But you can see, again, I will leave that screenshot I took earlier, maybe in our socials, just to show off what you can do with the deck if you actually really want to play this really awesome pile. Now, we will, of course, acknowledge, as I mentioned earlier, some of the weaknesses to the deck. If your opponent has a lot of rats, we will struggle quite a bit here. If your opponent has spot removal against key cards that we need to start getting our engine going, as you saw, we will definitely struggle quite a bit. But even with those things, we definitely have ways of getting around that stuff. We definitely have ways of just making it work. So as you saw, the best way of us protecting ourselves against rats and other key cards that we don't want to deal with is we have counter spells in the deck, and we do have a light bit of protection that can help us out. As you saw from the last match there, we actually were able to chain together just enough protection to get rid of their annoying commanders. Their strategy was completely shut down. So I'm actually, again, really, really happy with how it all turned out. Having said that, now if you do want to upgrade the deck and make this deck even stronger, we're just going to do a brief little overview of like what cards would you consider for the upgrades. Obviously, yes, stronger counter spells. I can't stress enough, so you can get counter spells. If you want, say, a better thing than Bayeen Veil, yes, you could be a really, really annoying person and play Cyclonic Rift, but that is an option if you do want to consider that, at least for upgrades for the deck. Obviously, cards like Mana Drain as your bigger, more powerful tempo stuff. Memory Lapse is going to be great as well. Those are, again, options that I would recommend for you personally, for just if you just want to get some stronger counter spells out of the deck. As far as extra support pieces, dig for things. Search for Escanta is really solid too. In terms of the green spells, Delighted Halfling also can be helpful for certain key cards to make sure they're not counterspelled. You have cards like Gilded Goose, which can help you make some food tokens, and also can help you just dig out what you need for select life gain and whatnot. If you actually also want to be a little spicy, you can also throw in Allosaur Shepherd if you're really, really worried about counter spells a lot, because then prevents from your elf and your green spells to be countered, which is really solid for us too. As far as other options for you, it actually really just depends on what route you could take. If you want to go elves, you then have plenty of ramp, but if you just want to go with just landfall shenanigans, some other key cards would be cards like Reduplicate here, Replicate, so great for stopping certain triggered activated abilities there. Certain removal that you could have will be cards, let's see, we just saw right now. We have Croaking Counterpart here. That's actually a pretty good option for you for removal. If you're looking at other cards that can support you and everything, Kasmina here, it's a spicy option. I actually would consider this only just because, again, making fractals can be helpful for you just to, again, get some big stuff out there. The scrying ability is actually probably what I would have it more towards. If you want to look at other options for the deck, this would take a little bit more work on your other end here, but if you want to put in a companion, you could get Karuga. If you want to go more towards the all big creature option, that can be something for you. Other card draw and life gain options for you would be like the Goose Mother, Hydroid Krasis. Doppelgang is beyond hilarious if you can make it work. We actually made it work in 60 card, but this is actually going to be something for in this deck would be amazing for. And as always, I'm going to say this every single time, no matter how many times you say it, always, 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 when you can, start upgrading your mana base ASAP. Even with our janky mana base we had today, we made it work, but there were some plays that we were a little slow and awkward on. So if you can afford it, throw in every rare land you can have if you haven't them already. So Pathway lands, again, Botanical Sanctum, Breeding Pool, you get the idea here, everybody. The Dreamroot Cascade, Hedge Maze, Hinterland Harbor, Vinestock here, really awesome for us as a creature land. Temple of Mystery, yes, even low-end lands like that, Vengevine Snarl, if you really have them, don't be afraid to use them. That's actually going to help you out quite a bit. So consider those as options for upgrades. Otherwise, I don't really have much else I want to say, except, again, if you do want to play this deck that we played today, 1-for-1, I will leave, of course, in the comments for the video on YouTube, a copy of it, so you can just copy-paste it, and then just play the deck list if you do want to try it out for yourself. Otherwise, I honestly don't have much else to say except one more time, thank you so much everybody who has been watching, but sad to say, I have a big boy job that I need to get to. But before we do that, if you stuck around this late into the video, thanks again, you are my true fiery friends, and you're going to see right here, here's going to be a sneak little peek as to what we're looking at for the end of the week and early into next week before we head out today. So we're looking at this is again going to be our next big deck tech, Saddle Up. I actually had a lot of fun with this deck, and I already did the gameplay footage. So throughout this week, I'm already working on editing it down to have it something that you can all watch. As far as our future ultra budget deck tech, the series that where I talk about basically decks that don't have rares or mythics, we have basically wolves here. That's going to be our Gruul deck, and that's the final one, the dual colors. But if you guys want to see triple color, 4 color, 5 color, no rares, no mythics, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys because I would definitely consider them. They'll be a lot harder to put together, but they are doable. With that, finally, in the far, far future, we're looking at, again, maybe a deck around Prowess. I have another fun Gruul deck that's still, it does take some rares, but waiting for Modern Horizons 3 to come out, and maybe we'll look at a deck that I'm calling, it's called Party City. But otherwise, the only other deck I've been playing with that I probably will not do a video on, but I might do a short on, is Heist is broken, because the Heist mechanic is a disgusting little thing that came out from Alchemy, and it's not a fun mechanic. But I do want to probably address that in a future short that I'll probably put together a little bit later on. Whew. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for me, everybody. So I don't really have much else to say, except one more time, I hope wherever you watch the content, you had a lot of fun, you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you do. But the only other final thing, as I go back to the screen right here, and again, I think we need to hit the music to then end the stream. One more time before I say goodbye, everybody. One more time, thank you so much. Appreciate all the support all of you have given me. But otherwise, I think we need to hit that music before we have you all enjoy the rest of your day. So, no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.